Sexual assault. When I say that term, what comes to mind? Or perhaps the better asked question would be, who comes to mind? Maybe you have a relative, friend, or acquaintance who has been the victim of sexual assault. Maybe you yourself have been the victim, and if that's the case, then I am deeply sorry for your trauma. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I doubt I'm alone here, but all of the people that I'm immediately able to think of are female. Why is that? Of course, logically, I know that men are victims of sexual assault too. Is it because women are assaulted at a higher rate than men? Or perhaps it's because women are more likely to report their assaults. Maybe men are just fundamentally anchored to what society tells them they can and cannot air as a grievance. Maybe us men feel as if we're not allowed to report that we've been sexually assaulted, so we hold it in and fail to speak up. Now, after I felt compelled to explore this further, in light of some recent revelations published to the internet concerning an ongoing controversy and sexual assault allegations, all of these societal assumptions I'd made were indeed proven to be correct. But I also found that the issue runs far deeper and is actually far worse than I could have ever imagined. On January 20th, 2022, Jack Wright published a video to his YouTube channel titled, "What Sienna May Did to Me."
I've sat down many times trying to do this. It's been very hard. I want to start off by saying, I just want to say thank you guys so much for your support and for giving me time. I wanted to share what I went through with Sienna and my side of the story.
This video was riddled with emotion and editing cuts that obviously trimmed away large portions of time. This was indicated by the puffy, glazed-eyed, tears barely held back, speaking as if he despised the very words his brain was telling him he needed to say Jack, that would then cut to the Jack that was clear, calm, and collected several times throughout its duration. I witnessed a man that was wrestling with something. Wrestling with pain. Wrestling with an identity crisis. Because society has told him that he loses something as a man that would even entertain making a video being this vulnerable. Wrestling with feeling guilty of betrayal as he perceived this woman to be a good friend, and was now speaking out against her despite knowing that she had already betrayed their friendship with her own actions. Now, Jack went into great detail concerning all of the unwanted sexual advances Sienna made toward him, all of the stalking, obsessive behavior, and her blatant disregard for his personal space throughout the entirety of their 4-year friendship.
I was just chilling on my phone on the bed and she got naked, like completely naked, nothing on, and straddled me when I was literally just chilling on the bed. But I didn't know what to do in like the situation because it was just like random and weird. Quickly told her, Sienna, get off, we're just friends, stop. That's when she pulled me in and grabbed me and tried to make out with me. So 2 friends wanted to take her home, and while the car was moving, she jumped out of the car, rolled, and said, I have to get back to Jack. So I ran back to the house and I was like hiding from her. She would constantly come to my house, remember my door codes. It got to the point where I had to like start screaming at her to like get out of my house because I was so sick of her just like breaking into my house. She would break into my house, and when I was sound asleep, she'd come into my room and I'd wake up to her hand in my pants. If I come out, she would like scream at me in front of everyone and think that I did something. I mean, I feel like no one believes a male, especially in like that type of situation. But yeah, she was on the counter and wrapped her legs around me and started like, let me out of the bathroom. Yeah, just weird stuff.
However, the final nail in the coffin for Jack seemed to be the discovery of this video. And before showing it, I will first give a word of warning. This next clip may be difficult to watch or distressing for some.
Another one of my friends came out with the video when I was at a party, like passed out on the couch. When they told me about what happened, they said they pulled her off of me. My twin, a friend, and another friend got in an argument with Sienna saying, you can't do that. Jack doesn't like you like that.
This seemed to be confirmation to Jack that her obsession with him had become a huge problem. Now, after listening to Jack recount his experiences with Sienna, the big question I had here is why? Why would this video be what finally started the journey that led him to speak out? According to him, he had already been the victim of sexual assault for years now. You can find opinions of every color surrounding this controversy. Most take Jack's side, but some side with Sienna, and almost always grapple with finding an answer to this very question when they do. It can be assumed that Jack is lying, that he in fact did consider her to be more than just a friend, and that it is only now that he has for some reason decided to play the victim. At face value, this is a logical conclusion, and I don't blame those that come to it, but I think the answer is much deeper than what can be deduced at face value. You see, Jack seems to be downplaying these unwanted sexual advances in his video by describing them as random or weird. This isn't how someone who is actively being sexually assaulted would describe the terrible situation they found themselves in. Let me propose a theory. I don't think Jack knew he was being sexually assaulted. Now, he knew that he didn't want what Sienna was trying to give him, of course, but I don't think that he knew it was possible for Sienna, or any female for that matter, to sexually assault him. So allow me to explain what I mean. Society tells men that every sexual advance from a female must be appreciated. That if you have a woman throwing herself at you, you must consider yourself grateful, or even lucky, whether you reciprocate that desire or not. Societal standards for men do not consider that a genuine man only concerned with having a platonic relationship with a woman can have that relationship violated if a woman desires more from it and acts on that desire without the man's consent. Our modern day societal standards for men do not allow sexual assault to even exist as a premise. Jack didn't know that he was being sexually assaulted because he didn't know that he was able to be sexually assaulted. He didn't know that he was actually being taken advantage of because he was wired, like so many other men, to believe that he was only able to receive. When I connected the dots and made this realization about our society in today's world, I truly became terrified. How many other men believe that if they are never the predator themselves, then there is never a problem with any sexual encounter they have with a woman? Maybe it's time for men to reshape the way we view sex and consent. Maybe it's time for us to take pride in the fact that we own our bodies, and that not every opportunity for sex is a flattering gesture that we must accept. Maybe it's time for us to apply the same newfound societal emphasis on respect for consent towards women to ourselves, because we deserve it too. Sexual advances are not always a gift, and they don't always need to be appreciated. And if you yourself are experiencing sexual assault, listen to these important words from today's victim.
If you've been through a similar situation as me, I encourage you just to speak out to anyone. And trust me, it helps so much. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for listening to me and letting me take time and breathe and process everything. And I'm glad I'm finally ready to tell the world my story. If you're watching right now and you've been through a situation like mine, I just want to say your feelings are valid.